I tell people that if you're doing a job today and want to quit to do your business, listen, your business should give you at minimum double what you were earning from somebody for you to actually start your business, not the other way around. Don't quit your job and you're earning nothing. That means you are of no value to your business. You're of more value to the company you were working for. And the value that they put on top of you was the salary you were earning. People do not understand the scale of fashion globally. If you're talking about a brand like, say, Burberry, just put things in context. Some international brands are as big as MTN or bigger than MTN. I want to put what people understand. So you look at MTN and say, oh, this is a huge brand. It has branches here, there. They probably make kind of money. Some international brands, many international brands make that kind of money.
Fashion?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, so as the owner of LVMH, one of the richest men in the world.
Yeah.
Just put that into context, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. When his company is turning out more money than Shell.
Yeah.
I'm saying things that we can relate to, because when we think of petroleum, we think Shell, oh my God, that's the biggest company in the world, they're making so and so money, blah, blah, blah. But a fashion label is making more money than them.
And it's true.
So if you put that into context, you understand what fashion is really supposed to be. The many of people that own fashion labels should actually be working for other designers rather than owning fashion labels. That's why you have competition, like people are literally sitting on their computer, sitting on my Instagram page or other top designers' Instagram page and copying what they did yesterday and give that to somebody tomorrow. Because they're not supposed to be designers. So all they're doing, the parallel copying market is bigger than the actual market. The money they make is bigger. Because people look at my stuff and take my stuff and give it to another designer to make, and because it is cheaper for them to do that. If the quality is not as good, it doesn't matter.
So long it looks
Especially
like
it's something that they're going to wear for one day, for their wedding. After then, they don't need it anymore. So why want to spend that kind of money? I think financial success is very important, because the way things happen to us in this country, you can be rich today, tomorrow you wake up in the morning and you're poor. And it's a very difficult one. A good example is that if you had 850 million naira in your account, that's close to $1 billion, you're probably very okay. If you had that 2 years ago, but now that same money that you had in your account, the value that it has in the country is literally half of that. You have a strong colonial mentality. You still believe everything overseas is better than everything local. But once you're serving the high clientele who are used to buying things in luxury store, you have to give them what they get over there.
yes,
For
that kind of
them
brand.
to even pay you half of what those guys are paying, because they still wouldn't pay you. You can't change that overnight. It's not education. It's stronger than education. I make suits better than a lot of people that they go and buy suits from overseas. But most of the people are not ready to give me the kind of money to spend overseas on the suits. Just because I'm Nigerian. Interestingly, they will give me the money when I go to Ghana, when I go to Ivory Coast. But my Nigerians wouldn't give it to me. People are saying work hard, work hard. Let's think about it properly. When you say work hard. Yeah, work hard, but the time you're using on your computer or sleeping in the office, you're not working. And you do, but yourself, you're not really working. Same mentality of people that own businesses right now. You're probably turning over 140K in a month. You're taking home 100K. You are there every morning. You're going to the market. You're coming back. You're fighting with tailor. You're doing all these things. I will tell you to come and work for me, right? You're taking 100K in your business. I want to give you 150. Say no, you want 300. Because I'm shutting down my business. I said, but your business is not profitable.
Wow.
But you won't take the 300 because guess what? You're not the boss.
You're not the boss.
You're not the boss at your business. You're the slave.
Wow.
But you still don't get it. But because you are the designer and you get the designer credit, you want to stay there and suffer. But someone is saying, you come and work for me. You probably would not work as hard as they're working for yourself. And I'll pay you more. No, you want 10 times more because I'm shutting down my unsuccessful business. If I leave my job right now as a 9 to 5 and I start my business, the least I should earn is what I was earning before. Or at least double what I was earning before. That's permission for me to live where I was. Not that I should earn zero. If I earn zero, you have failed. I'm sorry.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Selahmeditate, where we engage in insightful conversations with industry leaders and high calibers of individuals. I remain your host, Benzik. Today, we are privileged to have with us one of the most influential figures in African fashion, a visionary entrepreneur renowned for his impeccable craftsmanship and attention to detail. He is the mastermind behind a global brand who has redefined luxury fashion and bespoke tailoring, not just in Nigeria, but globally. His brand is a blend of creativity and business acumen. And today, he's here with us to share his journey, to discuss the business of building a globally successful fashion brand, and also the mindset that can help you achieve success in your own sphere of influence. But before I bring him in, as we often do for our first-time guests, I'm going to take a moment to read his brief profile. Mai Atafo, the creative force behind Atafo, is a celebrated figure in African fashion, renowned for his impeccable tailoring, sophisticated craftsmanship, and modern interpretation of heritage. With a career that spans both corporate and creative worlds, Mai transitioned from esteemed positions at global companies like British American Tobacco and Jago to establish his eponymous fashion brand. His dedication to his craft led him to train at Savile Row and the Istituto di Moda Borgo in Milan, earning him an upscale clientele that includes local and international celebrities. Mai's designs have graced prestigious platforms like the Victoria and Albert Museum and the Brooklyn Museum, solidifying his reputation as a pioneer in the African fashion scene. Known for challenging conventions, Mai's innovative fashion shows, such as his 800-plus front row experience for the Spring-Summer 24 collection, highlight his commitment to pushing boundaries, guided by the philosophy, master the rules of fashion like a lawyer and break them like an artist. Mai continues to elevate African fashion to global acclaim. So guys, if it's your first time of coming to this channel, we do well. We do our best to bring you high calibers of individuals like this. So one of the ways you can appreciate this is like this video and subscribe to the channel. So make welcome my highly high caliber guest, Mai Atafo.
Thank you for having me.
It's a privilege to have you here. It's really a great privilege. You've built a very successful brand for yourself and a very good name for yourself. I'd like to hear the journey. Tell us your journey and how you transition from corporate world into fashion.
Whenever I say this thing, it sounds like it's not quite an interesting story, but it wasn't much of a transition. I went to work one day and I quit. I didn't think about it. That morning I was going to work, I didn't know I was going to quit. I just went to work one day and I quit and I decided to do this. The thought has been something I've been nursing for a while, thinking, how about I do this full time? And I was at the point in my career that I felt like if I'd gone any further, I wouldn't have been able to even do fashion at all again. Because while I was working, I was also doing this. I did it together for 3 years before I quit my job. So it got to the point of my working career, my corporate career, and I thought, let me take the plunge. Let me do this and see what it has. So I don't live that life of regret saying, what if I tried? What if? So I just thought, let's take a chance and do it. And that's how I transitioned from the corporate world to the fashion world.
Have you ever thought that you're going to do this as in 20, 30 years ago? Have you ever envisioned?
Oh, no, at all. Like I said, I didn't think I'd be a fashion designer at all. I had a flourishing corporate career, and thought of fashion was just for me to enjoy fashion, not for me to provide this service to other people.
Where did that desire come from that you just decided to plunge in?
I think it was just the fact that people just kept asking me where I got things made, and I would direct them to the tailor that made it. After a while, it became a bit cumbersome, so I took up the mantle of doing it and giving it to them. But the big shift came when I started making things for my friends' weddings. I think I made for like 2 or 3 friends, and somebody met me and said, what if we pay for this? How much would you charge us? So that's when I realized I could commercialize this, but the thought never really came to my mind. It was until that moment I realized this can be commercial, and I commercialized it from that point. So that's when I started thinking, okay, I can do this for money. But before then, it wasn't something that I thought of like that.
Okay, then how did you start it up? How did you start?
Like I said, I started when I was doing my corporate job. So pretty much it started from me just, anyone says they wanted something that I was wearing or something that they'll like, I would create it and give it to them, pretty much. So I was pretty much just offering tailoring services, as the case may be. And that's how I started. It started at my boys' quarters here in Lekki Phase 1. I got 2 tailors in, and they started making things that way, putting those things out. That's how it really started. From there, it moved on really fast, where we're making clothes for Celebrity Takes Two, which is like a dance reality show. Pasuma was on the show, and he was the one we're making things for. That lasted 13 weeks, I think. And from that was a platform that actually just made everything explode. But all this time, I was still working my corporate job.
This was how long ago?
This was close to 16, 17 years ago.
Oh, wow. Was it more like self-taught?
At the point in time, I couldn't tailor. I'm still very terrible at tailoring, to be honest. I couldn't tailor at all, but it felt like I understood how the garments should come out.
Okay.
And when I described that to my tailor, he kind of like got the idea and then we pushed him. But he was quite intrigued because he always told me that the terms I was using and the way I described what I wanted felt like I had experience in the field, even though I didn't. So many of them were very, very in it. It may sound very cliche when I say I feel like it was a gift from God. But I spent a lot of time on the internet, on YouTube, just looking at how things should look and how things should fit. I did a lot of hours of research, and it was just for enjoyment. It wasn't because I thought I was going to create a big brand or something. It wasn't because of all that. It was just because I was just enjoying what I was doing.
You had some mentors and role models then that you just thought, so okay, you're going to model them and see what you create.
I didn't have any mentors, sadly. Then people didn't want to mentor anybody. But I looked up to a few people in the industry. I felt like if what they were doing was great, if I could do the same thing, it would be amazing. One of them is international designer Tom Ford, or fashion house Tom Ford. I thought that was a good example to look at the point in time to emulate. But even locally, there were other brands you could look at, like Moody. Then it was the Kunera twins. There are other brands here that I looked at and thought, it'd be nice to, be like this.
Now, what sparked your interest in bespoke, tailoring, and luxury fashion? And what was your vision from the start?
First of all, my vision wasn't to make suits and to create a made-to-measure bespoke clothing line. That was never the thought process. It was just to make clothes. I didn't think this thing through, to be honest. It made me look like I had this all locked down, and I was just no, it wasn't like that. Everything happened as I started, and I was moving on. I was creating things. So the whole idea for suitings came from a business plan that I was looking at and figuring out how can I make money from this thing. And when I did the math, then the math was very simple. I got it from a show. It was 30,000 times 3,000 will give you 90 million. So I just thought that, what am I making that I can get 30,000 naira profit from, and how can I sell 30,000 of it in a year? And the only thing that looked like it could pull that kind of weight was suits, because then I could sell my suits for 40, 50, 60K, so I can easily make 30,000 naira. And that's where I just started and said, okay, let's try this. So started up by making it as with third-party people. Didn't last too long because they weren't doing what I wanted, how I wanted it. Then I brought them in-house so I could guide them step by step. So that's where it all really started from. Building the brand itself to be what it is today. I think I always stand on this thing where I believe that you should give everybody absolutely amazing service. Regardless.
Everybody what?
Absolutely amazing service, regardless of what you're doing. If you're selling a car, just be the best. You put up a smile, make sure your paper is clean. You just present yourself. And that's what I thought was very key. It was just the presentation has to be good at every point in time. And I think that's what makes the brand look like it's a luxurious brand, is because we pride ourselves, with the way we present ourselves to people. But that's how the journey started. Every other thing that moved up from there, how we evolved, was just based on the fact that we're hungry to do things the way we see things done internationally. I believe there's only one standard, and the standard is international standard, where your things can go anywhere in the world, and it will fit right in there because you've taken out the time to work on it the way it's supposed to be worked on.
Most people believe, then, like you said, that you just started and then as the vision evolve around the line. Most people believe that before you start something, you should have a plan written down, imagine, and all of that. Where come the place of that, and what's your take on doing that kind of thing, or just starting off just like you do?
I think you should have a plan. I wish I did have a plan.
Seriously.
When I started, I wish I had a mentor that I could speak to. A lot of things would have been different from what I'm doing right now, to be honest. I think you should have a plan. I think you should have an understanding of the industry you're going into. So when you begin to see pitfalls and milestones that are going to set you back, you're kind of like aware that this is going to happen. You know, if you're getting tailors and you have 3 tailors and 2 of them leave you one day, if you heard the horror stories of tailors leaving people, you know, you kind of expect that could happen. You know, there are times I used to look at people who work for me and I think, oh, you work for me for 5 years. No, now my maximum period is 2 years. If you stay longer than 2 years, that's amazing. You know, because of how dynamic things are. It's not like I do not want you to stay. I really want people to stay for as long as they can stay and muff their roles into bigger roles and bigger responsibility. But I think we are all very dynamic as Nigerians. And people want to try. They want to try what you're doing because they believe they can do it because they've been here for long. So I honestly believe you should have a plan. And even if the plan is not 100% locked in and locked down, have something that you look at and say, this is what I want to do. Have people that you are trying to mirror and say, okay, because there's no industry that is a standalone industry at all. So if you want to go into fashion, there's definitely somebody doing what you want to do or doing something close to what you want to do.
Yeah.
So you can follow them up and say, okay, this is what I want to do. So it's like even with the world generally, you know, when you say, oh, someone did Uber and someone did Airbnb, it is pretty much the same thing. You had to do with idle property that was sitting in your house. If it's a car, it's a house. Like you're renting it out for money. Do you understand? But there's a digital platform for you to be able to reach out and someone manages that.
Yeah.
And now they've taken that idea to many other things. So at the point it started of giving my room out for free or giving my room out for a price, people already did that, but it wasn't organized. Or they didn't do it to the skill at which it is done now, you know? So everything's already been done before. It's just the how, and there's always a connector. I think these days it's more tech that is the connector, but there's always a connector that just brings it to life. So I strongly believe you should have a plan.
You should have a plan. Okay, now based on all this you said personally, what are because of how you started, what are the challenges you see you faced earlier on, and how did you overcome them?
The challenge we faced was definitely not having a structure of what you are doing. So you want to do everything.
Okay, not having structure of what you're doing.
Saying that, you know what, I want to just do only this and I'm not going to do the other one. You want to make Ashaibi, you want to make a leisure, you want to do sportswear, things you've never even tried out before. You want to do. Now that I've spent years in the business, when you tell me, oh, can you make it? I'm like, no, we can't make it. But the younger me was like, yeah, we can make it.
I want to make everything.
So there's a reason why I say I can't make some things right now, because I want to focus on where I think I have strength and what is my core, things I've done over and over again. So it's easier for me to deliver that to you perfectly, rather than trying something new that will probably put me in a bad situation. You know, so those are some of the things that I think that are very important. You talked about the challenges. Challenges that we face in our business, same challenges that everybody faces is electricity. You know, power is an issue. Very for us in fashion, because every machine needs electricity to start.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you can't even start. When you're thinking of giving perfect customer service, you know, your place has to be looking as good as it can get.
Yeah.
Trying to get skilled tailors to work for you is a problem. When you get them, there's always an educational gap that has to be filled, because the people that we're getting now are way behind the international world when it comes to tailoring.
Okay.
You know, technology has really gone far when it comes to tailoring. Things we used to cut, you know, hardly do people use scissors to cut anymore. They've gone to machines that they used to cut, but, you know, in time we still use scissors. It's not like it's a bad thing. It's just like there's an easier way to do it and a faster way to do it, especially when you're doing bulk. in terms of education, there's a huge gap for the guys you're trying to hire and stuff. In terms of, there's still no blueprint for the fashion industry.
There's still no blueprint for the fashion
There's
industry.
no blueprint for the fashion industry. If I was to tell anybody right now, give me designers that have done it way before us and how they have succeeded to building their business into a conglomerate so we can learn from the person. There's actually literally almost nobody.
Is it because it's not covered or it's not documented?
It's not documented, and moreover, there is no defined structure to it yet for how people can say this is how
Follow
it's
the
supposed
steps.
to be. The banking industry, when young boys started to jump on the banks and started to get bank licenses, when Tommy was younger, when the GT guy was young, or Jimovia was young, and they started this thing, they started it, and after them, people got the blueprint on how to do banking.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? Same thing happened to insurance, and people were like, okay, this is the steps you have to take. I think them being a regulatory body also kind of helped, because you have to get a license, you have to drop this, you have to do all that. And that has happened for many industries, even industries that are not as organized, being nightlife or being restaurants in Lagos. There's almost a blueprint to succeed. Like, if you want to be a fabulous restaurant in Lagos, make it as high class as possible, make your ambience very, very picture friendly, and people will come to your restaurant. It's not even about the food anymore. It's about those things. So there is a way to start it, to build it, and take it from there. But in terms of fashion, you can't even point to one and say, this is the blueprint on how to succeed as a fashion brand in Nigeria.
Is it that it cannot be done, or someone can be able to put it down?
Can be done, but it has to be really and thoroughly researched. And it has to be broken down into different categories based on what you want to do.
Okay.
If you want to offer tailoring service, if you want to do, within tailoring services, there's actually there's custom-made services. There is ready to wear, where you just go buy and go. How do you build that kind of business? So there are different segments, and you have to understand there's bridal business, which is totally different from many of these other things, because that's very, very emotive. Consultations take forever. Clothes take a longer time to prepare. You have all these things, so you have to settle down, understand. There are the people in the north that are making a lot of money, or they're making the kaftans.
Yeah.
That's another way that should be studied. So if I want to now go into fashion, I have 10 case studies. The one for custom mix tailoring for men, custom made tailoring for bridal, ready to wear for women's wear, ready to wear for men's wear. There's custom made traditional clothing as it pertains to the north. Because that same custom made traditional clothing in the south, it's a different conversation. So when you see all these things as resources, you can now study and go like, what? This is what I want to do. Right? And we're also saying not just that they do it successfully.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of successful fashion brands. Yeah, they may be successful in terms of outlook, but financially, it's a tough one. It's a very tough terrain for a fashion designer to look at it and say, I've reached the peak of what I can reach financially in this business. It's a tough one. I don't know anyone that can actually say that.
Then how do you define a successful fashion brand?
I think financial success is a very key part of success, especially when you're in Nigeria for a fashion brand. And people may think differently. You may think that when you're getting nods from people and you're in the media and you're on global platforms and you're successful. Yes, you are successful, but I think financial success is very important, because we look at people that were doing things in the past and you look at them now, when they do not have money, it looks like they're failures. It doesn't mean that they still have the hit songs that they wrote then, or, they don't still have the hit movie that we're part of, but they still look like they were failures, because they do not have the financial capability to sustain themselves till now. A good example is Prince Nicole Mbaga, the guy that sang Sweet Mother. Till tomorrow, that song is still a major tune.
Yes.
But the guy died in Calabar. I think he got hit by a car. He was riding his bicycle.
Can you imagine?
That was how low he had
gone.
So would you call him successful? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was successful in his music career. I think financial success is very important in a country that doesn't give you any recognition or any gratitude for what you have contributed to the culture. Other people will give you grants, other people will support your industry because you have done this for us. So we'll look for ways to make you okay. We'll give you a house, the government will do that for you. It can't be that bad that we can't put you on the salary. It's not only government officials that have worked for the country that should get that kind of thing. You know, people in the creative space give us a good look as a country. They should get some kind of thank you for making us look this way. And it's a certain level. I'm not saying it's everybody should be on the sundry, but you can tell those that have contributed to this country looking like it's a place that people can come and invest.
Yeah, true.
Know? So I think financial success is very important because the way things happen to us in this country, you can be rich today, tomorrow you wake up in the morning and you're poor. And it's a very difficult one. If you had a good example is that if you had 850 million naira in your account, that's close to $1 billion. You're probably very okay. If you had that 2 years ago, but now that same money that you had in your account, the value that it has in the country is literally half of that. So you did nothing wrong. You had the money and you saved it and you put it on there. You had, $1 billion naira. Then you wake up then 6 months later and it's 500,000.
500,000, yes.
Just like that.
Just like that.
You did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You did absolutely nothing wrong, and that's what has happened to you. And it's always nice that we should always save in naira, keep in naira. Even there are things that if you keep your money in dollar as it is in dollar, it probably has a value between then and now. If you put it back to naira, I'm very sure in overseas the dollar is probably dropping against what it used to be, but it's not that drastic. They hold the economy.
Yes.
So even things like your property and all that, yes, it does appreciate, but appreciate against the naira it does. But against international and global standards, it's not appreciating. So I think financial success is good, and that's why I strive for. I'm not as financially comfortable as I would want to be, So I tend to work really hard because I really would like to sit back and relax one day. I know that all the years I've worked can take care of the balanced part of my life that I want to live.
Yeah. So, but do you think it's actually possible to achieve financial success in the fashion scene?
It is very possible. It's a lot of work. It's very hard work, but you can. You may have to diversify into other things to save your money, but it is possible.
It's very much possible. Okay, how were you able to build your brand to be able to appeal to high net worth of individuals?
I think everybody likes everything that is quality. If it's the same black suit or the same white shirt, if it's tailored well with good fabrics, somebody's ready to pay money for it because that's what they understand to be premium and what they understand to be luxury.
Okay.
And I tell people at the end of the day, your customers deserve well-tailored garments. Just stop giving them things that are badly tailored or fabrics that would itch their body after they've purchased it and stuff like that. That's what I believe. So if you do really good stuff, the guys that can pay for the good stuff will come.
That's true.
It's as simple as that.
That's true. Now, how do you, based on what you said regarding the challenge of this country, how do you compare the fashion brand locally here and internationally?
There are pluses and minuses.
Okay.
Locally, it's easy for you to start your fashion label and get people to work for you. Internationally, it's very difficult because every skill set you want to use to do that is going to be expensive for you to get. Every skill set has its range in terms of what you're going to pay them. So from the beginning, you should be making money. Over there. From the beginning, you should be, if I'm going to get a tailor overseas, I'm going to pay him a salary. And the salary would not be cheap like what we do here. And when you do that, you have to sell to be able to afford to pay the person. And if you can't pay the person will leave. It's as easy as that. But here, if we're doing what we do as a custom one-by-one tailoring, I can give it to one guy and pick it up. I can go to Japa market and have it done and give it to the next person tomorrow. So entry into the industry is very easy here. Over there, it's difficult. again, over there, it's more sophisticated in terms of we have really big designers and stuff. For you to come up as a new designer with your story and gain presence is really hard.
Over there.
Yes. And it's something I must also cite is that people do not understand the scale of fashion globally.
Okay.
If you're talking about a brand like, say, Burberry, just put things in context, some international brands are as big as MTN or bigger than MTN. I want to put what people understand. So you look at MTN and say, oh, this is a huge brand. It has branches here, there, here, there, here, there, here, there. They probably make kind of money. Some international brands, many international brands make that kind of money.
Fashion.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah, so has the owner of LVMH one of the richest men in the world?
Yeah.
Just put that into context. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. When his company is turning out more money than Shell.
Yeah.
I'm saying things that we can relate to because when we think of petroleum, we think Shell. Oh my God, that's the biggest company in the world. They're making so and so money, blah, blah, blah. But a fashion label is making more money than them.
And it's true.
So if you put that into context, you understand what fashion is really supposed to be.
True.
So when you drive around and look at the Shell estates or Chevron, right? You see that huge estate and where the workers are staying. That could be a fashion label.
Wow.
So now that I've made you realize that, conceptually, now you understand that when you're talking about big fashion brands, be it the Dior's and the Gucci's, they are bigger than that. That's the scale in which they operate. When they say we have 300 stores around the world, that's the scale in which they operate. If Shell has a business in the country, they're probably as good as done. But this one, we have 5 in one country. Try to have multiple in a particular country. So it's to make you understand the scale of the business, the work that goes into it. Because if you're trying to run multiple shops in a location, it's a lot of money. You know? So put it again in context. The same thing, you have your banks that have multiple branches. True. And these guys are doing it.
Wow. Now, what do you think? What do you think is the reason why they're able to do that there? And
because they say that's a proper business. It's a proper business. When I mean it's a proper business, it's like you follow the steps you do when you're trying to start and register a proper business. It's not something I like because I do it for the love of my colors. Because I like to put clothes together, so I'm going to start a fashion label. So many of the people that own fashion labels should actually be working for other designers rather than owning fashion labels. That's why you have competition, like people are literally sitting on their computer, sitting on my Instagram page or other top designers' Instagram page and copying what they did yesterday and giving that to somebody tomorrow. Because they're not supposed to be designers.
Wow.
So all they're doing is waiting for and the market, the parallel copying market is bigger than the actual market. The money they make is bigger because people look at my stuff and take my stuff and give it to another designer to make, and because it is cheaper for them to do that. If the quality is not as good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So long it looks
Especially it's something that they're going to wear for one day, for their wedding. After then, they don't need it anymore. So why am I going to spend that kind of money?
True.
You know, and the designer is doing something wrong, knowingly or unknowingly, but he's doing something wrong because when he becomes the successful designer tomorrow, imagine he brings out a collection of 20 pieces and they copy the 20 pieces the next day and they start selling it for cheaper.
Wow.
You know, so it is that kind of thing where, you know, it is tough to want to not compare us to those guys in terms of the skill and what they offer, the kind of service they offer. We can do the clothes that they give you, but every other thing around it, we probably cannot. So when they do return policy, we probably cannot do a return policy. Do you get what I mean? But I can make a garment as good as any of these top designers you're talking about.
So why can't someone take up that challenge and do it here?
It's a challenge that who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for just doing the challenge of trying to make you a big business?
Clients.
The client's money is not enough to turn it over organically. So if I was to do that, I was going to rent a space of 20 million naira everywhere in every key city in this country to push my brand. If only the rent is 20 million, then you have to buy the generator with another 10 million. You have to service that generator. You have to do the place up. You have to get staff in there. You have to now produce. inventory you're going to put in that place. Then you have to now do communication that is one language speaking to all the branches, and everything has to be placed in the right place at the right time. You have to now welcome people in. After saying all this thing, all of a sudden the price of those things have already gone up to this point.
Yeah.
Who's going to buy it?
Who's good?
So you have created it, now who's going to buy it? So the other thing is to create it on the smaller scale where it is cheap and affordable. But cheap and affordable is where you're going to produce those cheap and affordable clothing, because you can't do it in Nigeria. Because you don't produce anything here. You don't produce the raw materials that you need to produce the garments. Very few people still take cotton from the north and turn it into yarn and turn it into fabric. But the fabric is not world-class fabric. It's not great fabric, to be honest. It's like an Ankara fabric that when you wash, at the end of the day, it shrinks and it can even tear like a piece of paper. I'm generalizing here. There's some really good quality ones, but you kind of get what I mean. For me to make things that you can actually buy for 30K, 50K, do you understand? It's tough.
Is it that we don't have the raw materials in
We
this
don't
country?
have anything at all.
At all?
We don't.
Because sometimes most people say that the raw materials are exported there, and then the products are not brought out here.
People say that, but at the end of the day, yes, you can actually export leather from here and take it there. I think that's one of the products you can actually say that kind of thing about. But the guys that buy your leather, when they're done making the stuff, they sell the stuff for like $2,000, $3,000. If I made the same stuff, I want to sell it for $500, nobody will want to pay. With the same leather.
That's true.
People don't buy the product, they buy the hype, they buy the brand. So it's a different conversation. Except it's a product of necessity, then it's different.
Okay.
If you're not the product of necessity, then it's...
Or it's not possible to build that strong hype for it that can serve the high clientele.
You can serve the high clientele, but once you're serving the high clientele who are used to buying things in luxury store, you have to give them what they get over there.
Yes, build
for
that kind of
them
brand.
to even pay you half of what those guys are paying, because they still wouldn't pay you. We have a strong colonial mentality. We still believe everything overseas is better than everything local. So you can't change that overnight. It's not education.
True. Yeah.
It's stronger than education.
Yeah.
I make suits better than a lot of people that they go and buy suits from overseas, but most of the people are not ready to give me the kind of money to spend overseas on the suits.
And it's true.
Because I'm Nigerian. Interestingly, they will give me the money when I go to Ghana, when I go to Ivory Coast. But my Nigerians wouldn't give it to me. And that's also market understanding. Once you understand the market, you decide on what you want to do. Do you want to educate the market on what they are doing wrong, or you want to leverage on the so-called colonial mentality and sell them? Because you see, I always have a theory, right? Recently, you have people saying, "Oh, Nigerian artists, you guys are charging too much."
Yeah, they're charging themselves out of the market.
Bring down your market, bring down your money. You're charging you out of the market and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Which, on one hand, is correct. On the other hand, it could be wrong. And I've looked at it from a few different perspectives. Number one, at a point in time when the Naira was very strong, when they offered these same guys the dollar equivalent to come and perform overseas, they say no. Because the Naira had value. So they would rather stay here and do a gig and get paid 2 million Naira or 1 million Naira, whatever the case is. Because when they were going over there, they were offering them $1,000. When they look at it like, nah, I can't do it for this kind of money. Because the Naira had value. Right?
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, if Naira starts to lose value, the same $1,000 I said I wouldn't take, when I compare the $1,000 to what I'm getting here, it has more value. And if I go there, I can do smaller gigs and take 1,000 times 10, and that's 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And my one big gig here is not giving me that.
Wow.
Whilst I'm doing that, I'm also engaging with the people that actually give me my money from my streaming. Because the money from digital streaming is not from here. It's from there. So I'm going to make more money by going to 10 small engagements there. I'm going to engage with customers, consumers, even more fans who will now go back and stream my music. Then when I come back home, I'm making money from the digital space. If it were you, where will you go and perform?
You're very correct.
So what now happens is that you are saying that I'm pricing myself out of the market. No, I'm pricing myself out of the Nigerian market, but in the international market, I'm fine. And that's because of the value of the naira. It's not because of anything else. So the same amount of money that they were refusing 15 years ago and 10 years ago, they will take the same amount of money now to do that. And this is where the twist is. It's now the time for Afrobeats globally.
Yeah.
So it's not even about the same amount of money. They're offering them even more. Because they are bigger stars now overseas than they are here.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, people are ready to give Burna Boy $1 million. How many people will give me $1 million here?
And it's true.
So he will count his losses. He will do 10 big shows and chill. Or whether he will do his own show by himself, sure, most of them do, and make the money for everything. Take the takings for everything. Before, there used to be parts of shows when they went to go overseas. So they don't worry about setup, security, and all that, ticketing and all that wasn't their worry. They will be part of the show, they get paid. But all of a sudden, if I manage all that, pay people to do that, I'll make more money. So I won't be part of it. Which affected something like one African festival, music festival that used to happen in different locations around the world. You're not able to pay the artist to come and be on your bill anymore. But they are making money. They are making money from streaming. They're making tons and tons of money from streaming. So there's a standard. So all of a sudden, the guys are happy to go there. Now, if fashion, in Nigerian fashion, is now well received overseas and they want it every day, and they want it every day to use every day or use it every weekend, and they want it in quantity.
Yeah, yeah.
So all of a sudden, we are now starting to make clothes for international. We won't price in naira, we will price in dollars.
Yeah.
And what has to happen, you can't afford us here anymore. You can't. And let's make it even worse. We'll take away revenue from Nigeria because you definitely won't be producing here anymore. You start producing overseas for your overseas markets.
Yeah.
Once you're producing overseas for the overseas market, you've just killed everything that's going on with fashion in this community. And it's done. I mean, the music industry is a studio, it's a smaller setup to get what you want to get. With the fashion industry, you want to, I mean, my friend Vodi has 150 tailors. That means he has a whole village he's taking care of. Because if each of those people are married, that's 300, right? If each of them have 2 kids, right? That's 600. If minimum wage is 80,000 naira, as the government has said, but for ease of calculation, let's make that, 80,000 naira. If you multiply that 80,000 times 2 people in the family, just give it the amount of money he's taking, the community he's actually empowering. That number is ridiculous. That number is ridiculous.
Wow.
And he's doing way more than minimum wage. I know that as a first hand for his tailors.
Wow.
So that is empowering the whole community. How many musicians can say that they empower that number of people in a go?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? I'm not saying that you are giving money out for free. No. They are working for the money, but you give them the platform to be able to work to earn a living. That's what he's doing. That's what most of us are doing. Now, if this tide starts to change, and instead of everybody in the north wanting to wear kaftan, everybody in the US wants to own 7 kaftans. He would have to move there. And if he moves there, we can't afford him here. And he's taking away a whole chunk of what is giving this community away.
Wow.
So the same thing that's happening with doctors that are leaving and you're not having good doctors here anymore and stuff like that. Those things are rampant, but it's also a case of if where value doesn't match reward, the system will change. It's already starting to happen in the Nigerian fashion industry, where people are happy to pay you what you are saying from another place rather than Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Now, okay, with all this, do you encourage people then to go out there to relocate outside?
Or, I mean, do anything that makes you happy. You see, at the end of the day, your country has to fight for you. Not because you are born here that it is mandatory for you to serve here. They should make it interesting for you. It's like your home. You go up with your parents, but you guys don't have a TV at home. You end up in your friend's house that has a TV. That's what you do.
But that's why you're an entrepreneur. What are you supposed to do? You're an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you break through challenges and do what you need to do.
You don't bring water out of a rock. You don't. That's not your job as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs doesn't mean you should go and suffer to make a living. That's what people get it wrong. That's not what entrepreneur is supposed to do. You're not supposed to die because you want to feed your family. You're taking a chunk you're taking a burden off the government by being an entrepreneur. Because the government's supposed to provide everything you need. That's why initially government had NITEL, they had NEPA, had NIPOST. They are providing the service for the people and also monetizing it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, you can't even provide food for your people. You can't provide anything for them. That's why you collect tax. So you can take care of the people. Provide the people so the people can be okay. So it is the government that's meant to do that, not the people. That's why I use your house as an example. If your parents don't give you what is good, if your parents are giving you gari to soak every day, and your friend's house, they give you lunch, you'll be in your friend's house. That is what Japa is. If your dad is giving you gari every day to soak and your friend's house, there's rice, you'll be in your friend's house. So your house is Nigeria, but it's not conducive for you. What are you going to do? Go to your friend's house. If you have a black and white TV and your friend's house has color television, that's where you'll be. We used to do that as kids.
Yeah.
Because your home is not giving you, it's not conducive for you to be able to be happy enough to stay there. That's what Japa is. So now you're telling me that, because you are a good child, stay at home and keep drinking the gari. Or you know what? Turn the gari into eba and soup. But I'm not going to give you any help to do it because you're an entrepreneur. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I think
it makes no sense.
But I think it means that as an entrepreneur, you start from nowhere and you make through where there seems to be no way.
You do, but there's always something. There's something. It's not literally back in the days whereby all you need is land, then I go farming, then I wait for this period, then I get my crops, and I'll do this. That's not what it is. We've gone past that stage, and we should stop thinking like we are 50 years ago. We're not providing anything for entrepreneurs. Does any school have entrepreneurship studies in this country? Up to recently, I think it's Lagos Business School and a few people that teach people how to. It was never a thing to teach us to be able to own businesses in this country. Even till now. There are not entrepreneurship classes that say, like, these are the steps to be an entrepreneur, to own a business. There's no course that teaches you that kind of thing. It's very, very few, if any. I only know of Lagos Business School that teaches you this is how to be an entrepreneur. And this is even a new thing. We are not entrepreneurs by nature as Nigerians. We are people that work for the government, get to the top of the rank, and retire. It's a few people. That's why growing up, you could tell who were the key businessmen in the country.
Yeah. Because
it wasn't a thing that was normal. You know? When Wire is doing something, that man is a businessman, and he was celebrated for being a businessman. There were people there you could pick and say, these are business people. Then these are technocrats. This is that. You could tell the people that were doing things at that point in time when we were growing up. Because it was, Igbinedio in Benin was like, oh wow, he has an airline. He has drinks. He was an entrepreneur in Benin. He was rich. He was like, oh my God, how did he do this? Because it was a rare thing. It wasn't common to do it at that scale. You know, people were doing petty trades here and there. Yeah, petty trade is petty trade. So what we're talking about right now is that now we are trying to replicate what those guys were doing in today's world. And people make it look like it's easy.
So how then do you describe an entrepreneur? What's the role of an entrepreneur?
It's the man that wakes up every morning to face the risk the society has given him to make a living.
So then the risk is what the society has given us at the moment. So what do you make out of it?
Your risk, there's a risk. It doesn't mean it's going to a whole new world to create a whole new world.
Okay.
The risk are gaps. That means the world is there. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
But we should stop making it look like you're going to go somewhere where nothing exists at all and you're going to be a superstar. No.
Dubai was created out of nothing.
They had oil. There was something. There was oil. And they used the oil wisely. That's how they're where they are right now. And this is how they are thinking. They know the oil is not forever. What are they trying to do? They're not making Dubai a tourist attraction. That's where they want to. That's where they're making the money from tourism. So they use oil to fuel tourism. And now they're fueling tourism. There's nothing you want that you don't get in Dubai. On top of that, they're trying to be a tech hub. They're trying to do a lot of things in that same desert. That was a desert. There was a desert, and we had the same oil. We had more, by the way. Have we tried to think what we want to turn that into? Instead, we've sold it for the next God knows how many years to somebody. But they turned theirs into, you know what? This is not going to last forever. What can we do that can make, and that thing we're going to do is what will last us forever. So let us do tourism. You're going to a desert, it's a hot day, but people are going to Dubai. And that is new age thinking, because this happened 20 years ago, even less. Dubai, this whole Dubai story that we're talking about. In the good old days, when people were in Japa, like the Japa was happening there, our parents were going to Saudi Arabia. Doctors were going to Saudi Arabia to go and work and earn money then. It's the same thing that's happening now. The people are going to the UK and stuff. Same thing. It's because your home is not rewarding you. They're rewarding the wrong people. We reward the politicians a bit too much, and they're supposed to be our servants.
True.
Your politician is your servant. He says, I want to serve you. People that serve, what do? They kneel down. But instead, we are kneeling for them. I'm serving you. I said, vote for me so I can make your life better, so I can provide you your needs, so I can do all these things. Let me serve you. Let me make you okay. That's what I want to do. Being a politician is not a sexy thing. It's not a beautiful job. It's not supposed to be a beautiful job.
Nigeria made it look beautiful.
Because they steal the money. It's very easy. Straightforward. They steal them. Anyone that is supposed to serve us as human beings, we worship them in Nigeria. From your pastor to your politicians. We worship them.
Wow.
You look at your pastor owning a private jet and you do not have a pair of shoes, but you will give him the last dime you have because he's going to do what? It's your bridge to God. It's not your bridge to God. You can talk to God directly. But people will serve their pastors really hard against, even when they do not have, they give to the pastor. That's really, let's not get into that, but I believe that we do the wrong thing. We serve who is supposed to serve us.
But people believe it's because, based on what you just said, that people believe that based on like the woman in the Bible that came with her last dime and Christ said she came with her last penny to put together. So maybe that's that faith, that belief that people
She
come
gave
with.
it to Christ. She didn't give it to pastor.
She's with it in the church.
No, but she gave it to Christ. Give it to God.
What they are doing is giving to God in the church.
They're not giving to God, they give it to the pastor. It's two different things.
That's what they believe.
Jesus didn't have a private jet. Jesus had sandals that he wore. He didn't even wear shoes. He wasn't known to be flamboyant. He wasn't known. It's a totally different conversation. I'm very passionate about it. But the way we act like morons around the men of God is ridiculous, because that's not their job. Their job is to lead our path and guide our path. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Open your eyes to see what you can see. Someone once asked me, and someone once said this, and I thought it was very interesting, that there's no institution that you go and study something that you do not graduate from. How come we never graduate from churches? You're studying the Bible for 50 years.
It's an eternal race. It's a heavenly race.
God says you should communion. He says you should come together and worship. But he says you should do it on Sabbath day and keep the Sabbath day holy.
Okay, now.
But then you have Wednesday service, Tuesday service, Tuesday service, that service. I mean, and again, I'm not putting against anybody. Do you get what I mean? But I think that the churches have such power in this country. They can change this country.
Yeah. I believe so too.
The churches can actually do skills acquisition within the church to empower people and check and see if people are actually getting jobs and follow them through with that. Your connect should be, I want to connect you to this man that is in the church so he can get you a job. And if not doing well, come back to the church. We can discipline him for not doing what's supposed to do at work.
But there are many other churches that are doing that.
How many? How many? If that's the core of building community as a church, and that's what you are doing as a church, trust me, people that want to give will be in the church, and people that want to receive will be in the church. Because I'll be comfortable enough to be in that church because I know you're doing something good.
Wow.
So I need people to work for me. Right? You're going to get me somebody that is in the church to work for me. And the person will work for me diligently, as it says in the Bible. He will sacrifice and work diligently, as it says in the Bible, because we're in the same church. It won't be lazy.
True.
It would work hard. Do you get what I mean? And that's what the church is giving us, because we're in the same community. So I can tell the pastor that this guy is not doing well at work. Right? And his counseling is going to tell him why he should do better at work. Not why he should pray better. Because they always say you walk and you pray. Not you pray, then you wait to expect the miracle. Which is what we're doing. You don't even give anything for, like, you work hard, so God sees your work, then multiplies it. We don't even work, we just pray. And we want the multiplication. But God has nothing to multiply. He's not saying, like, I want to multiply this. You know, I want to turn the loaf of bread to lots of loaves of bread and to fishes. But give me something first. Let me do something. You're not giving me anything. A long time ago, my dad told me that God answers every prayer, but he says no to some. No is an answer. Because if he says yes to every single prayer, and brothers pray when they want to go on operation. How about a great yes to that one? Every single time that happens. Some of the answers have no. Maybe because you have not done what you are supposed to do at the point in time. This is not business conversation. This is and I don't intend to start a church in the future. It just comes from our mentality where we worship and praise the wrong people rather than challenge them.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Challenge them
to
say, you know, this is what it is and how can you make me a better person? We don't challenge those people.
This is very true. And what you just shared is quite very deep. Very, very deep. Now, you know, entrepreneurship is a mindset. So what the essence of entrepreneurship to see that, okay, even despite all of those challenges that are there, what can you be able to make out of it? So, but Nigeria's case scenario has tried to made it more difficult for people. What's normal life, people don't have it and things like that. So it's a mindset to operate a business and to run entrepreneurship in this part of the world. Now, what kind of mindset do you think an average Nigerian or an entrepreneur in this part of the world should have to be able to achieve some level of success? Because despite all you shared, despite all the challenges, there's people highly successful in this country. So what kind of mindset should one?
I think you should be very, very. You should be dogged. You should be able to face the storm and stand. Right. And I also tell people this thing: if you face the storm and stand, and it falls you down 10 times, you can reevaluate and say, I don't want to face this storm anymore. Sometimes you cannot be stupid because you're trying to be an entrepreneur.
You can just be stupid.
You should not be.
Okay, you should not be stupid, okay.
You can just say, you know what, I don't think I know it. I don't think I understand it. You think, maybe I need to learn a little bit more. You can stop. The entrepreneurs that I appreciate the most, the ones that have actually started businesses and stopped it and said, I'm not doing this anymore.
Seriously?
I appreciate those guys and go into something else.
That's like giving up.
It's not giving up. It's assessing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I give a good example. I mean, I don't know the full story about this, but Mo Abudu had Ebony Live TV.
Okay.
Now she's doing more movies than anything else. Right? People can say she was a failure because she stopped the TV channel. That can be the story. Right?
True.
Because she stopped the TV channel.
Yeah,
You
it's true.
know, she failed.
It's true.
Right? Have you ever figured that she's probably making more money from making movies?
How would you know?
I can almost do the math. And I'll break it down to everything is common sense.
Okay.
When you're doing a movie, you have a start date and an end date for production. When you're doing a TV channel, you have no start and end date. You're producing continuously, every day. You need content for 24 hours. You're always producing something. You have an 8-hour block to repeat stuff and you have to change it. So you have a production house that continues rolling.
More resources.
So there's more than just money. You're pushing a lot of money. Have you ever wondered how much to buy advertising on the TV channel? That's where you make your money from. Advertising. And when you look at it, even though you're paying 1 million for a 60-second spot, how many 1 million naira are you getting and how much is the salary for everybody in that place?
It's true.
Then she does a movie and she's making how many millions, hundreds of millions of naira on the first night. I mean, Funke just did 1 point something billion take home on the movie, Tribe of Judah or something.
Yeah.
She stopped production. But a TV channel, you will continue. You're paying salaries every month. You're doing this. Tomorrow, they're going to change location. She was doing it in Tinapa. She brought it back to Lagos. She had to get a huge warehouse. She was doing this and doing this. Like, too many moving parts. But now, a movie or a series is a project that can start and end today and chill. If you ask me, I think she's making more money now than she was doing the channel. But someone could look at her and say, oh, she failed. She did a TV channel and she failed.
Didn't succeed, yeah.
No, she didn't fail. It led her to what she now saw to be a better business, and she stayed there.
So at what point then do you think someone should be able to stop, like you said, she stopped and move to something else?
When you realize that something else can give you more money than you're doing, when you realize something else can give you more peace of mind than you're doing, something less is... I don't think everybody wakes up to say, I want to work so hard so I can make money. I don't think you wake up and say, I want to suffer for the money I want to make. I want to work, but I don't want to die. Do you get what I mean? I don't want to die because I want to make money.
People believe
So
that
people are looking for
work.
smarter ways to work, not harder ways to work. You think your bricklayer today, if you showed him that he can make money using his phone, he will say, no, I want to carry blocks.
It's true.
Do you think so?
Yeah, it's true.
He won't want to carry blocks. I tell people, say, many designers are doing fashion. If I said, okay, you know what, let me handle your production, I'll give you the exact thing you want, how you want it, exactly how you want it. Will you give me your production? They will give me production. They'll give me their production immediately. They'll make me produce for them. They don't want that hassle. I don't think anybody would choose hard work over smart work. Instead of working 10 hours a day, you tell me to work 6 hours a day and I'll make more money. I'll say no. I was born to suffer. I must work 10 hours in the day. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. I once worked for a corporate entity when I worked in British American Tobacco. And at 5 o'clock, they tell you to leave the office. At 6 o'clock, they stand them one. At 7 o'clock, they shut down the system.
Seriously?
Yeah, go home. Because you are still trying to work at night. That means you are not productive.
Serious?
Yes. Effectiveness and efficiency is part of productivity. You had these hours in the day to do the work. If you stay longer, that means you're not using your hours correctly. You're not using them wisely.
Are you serious?
So when you don't have that time and you have to work within the time, you will ensure that your tasks are done and completed within the window you have. All of a sudden, your life becomes more balanced. But instead, you can go on social media and click away instead of working. You go and just with your office girlfriend. Your lunch is 1 hour. You can take 1 hour, 30 minutes, because you know that you'll be there till 10 p.m.
Wow.
But if you know you have to be, like to work in the weekend, we had to take permission to work at the weekend. If it's not approved, you don't come to work.
Seriously?
Yes. And your salary was tied to your performance. So during working hours, don't talk to me. Guy, I need to work. I need to work. Like, free me. I need to work. Because at the end of the month, end of the quarter, they will appraise you. And your appraiser is below par, you don't get an increment in salary.
Wow.
So people are there working hard because they know they don't have extra hours. So it is possible.
Wow.
It is possible. So people are saying work hard. Let's think about it properly. When you say work hard. Yeah, work hard, but the time you're using on your computer or sleeping in the office, you're not working. And you know by yourself you're not really working. Same mentality of people that own businesses right now. You're probably turning over 140K in a month. You're taking home 100K. You are there every morning. You're going to the market. You're coming back. You're fighting with tailor. You're doing all these things. I will tell you to come and work for me. Right? You're taking more 100K in your business. I want to give you 150. Say, no, you want 300 because I'm shutting down my business. I said, but your business is not profitable.
Wow.
But you won't take the 300 because guess what? You're not the boss.
You're not the boss.
You're not the boss at your business. You're the slave.
Wow.
But you still don't get it. But because you are the designer and you get the designer credit, you want to stay there and suffer. But someone is saying, you come and work for me. You probably would not work as hard as you're working for yourself. And I'll pay you more. No, you want 10 times more because I'm shutting down my unsuccessful business. Unsuccessful business. I mentor people and I tell them, listen, your business right now is not doing anything. You want me to come and partner with you? You know what? Give me 70% of your business and not doing anything so we can work together. I can guarantee you that we start making ₦1 million every month. Right now, you own 100% and you're making 0. If you give me 70% of business, you're making 300 every month. They will say no. Because you have a major stake. They're not thinking that I'm making more money. No. Because it's not my name, then I will not do it. What is your name doing for you? I'm saying this right now. If somebody wants to buy my business as I sit down right now for the right amount of money, I'll sell it. I'll sell it off in a heartbeat.
Wow.
If the money is right. That's what I'm working for. That's what I'm working for. I will sell it and work for the person. We have to get out of that clock system. I'm talking to young people. It is so hard to shift them away from there because they see the glamour of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
No, you can be an intrapreneur.
True. Some people don't know that.
Look at the late Heberwigwe.
Yeah.
He was an employee.
Yeah.
These are the kind of examples you should be citing. You make yourself so indispensable, so valuable. It feels like you actually own the bank. You can make money working for somebody as long as you are doing the work and you are indispensable. The person will give you a portion of the business to keep you there. Make yourself that guy. That should be the new strategy where you go into people's place, be an entrepreneur. Go there, put everything you want to put in your enterprise, in the enterprise, and make it deliver. And hold them to ransom. They will give you what you want. They will give you what you want.
Now, if you say all of this, some people will say every business or every startup business comes with some challenges. So maybe at that point you're talking about the person is facing some challenges that he needs to overcome in order to become successful. So if you remove the person from the business that is already trying to grow, or even though it's not making that money they're trying to offer the person, how can the person be able to put in that time and the attention to build the business, to be able to start making even more than what you're offering the person? Because calling me to come and work for you, it's for how long is it going to be? And how much you're going to be paying me? How much longer am I going to work there to end that? Am I going to work for you for life? For how many years am I going to work there? Okay, when I leave, what am I going to do? So, but that time I'm using to build the business that maybe you start unsuccessful, that is not producing now. How much more? Why if I put it more time and see what it's going to do for me?
If you put in that same time into my business, I won't let you go. I'll give anything you ask me to give you.
It's a different
And what
mindset.
I'm giving you may be more than you ever make in your business.
That's a new mindset.
Yeah, put that blood, sweat, and blood in my business. Do it for 3 years and tell me I want to leave right now. Say, guy, you can't leave. What do you want? You can't leave. It happens. When I worked for BAT, I got a job offer from MTN. I was going to go, and I met my marketing director, and I said, they're offering me. She's like, they're offering you. I'm like, how much are they offering? I told her, I said, okay, yeah, we'll match it. Anything else?
Seriously.
I'm like, no, that's fine. I'll stay. And I stayed. Because at that point in time, we don't want you to go. We value you. So we'll give you what any other person is asking to give you. And I came with the offer letter. They saw the offer letter and they matched it.
Wow.
And the other thing she told me that, listen, there are 2 other people in your department. If they want you and they can't get you, they will go for the other 2. So we'll increase their salaries too.
Wow.
So what I will want you to do is that take their letters and give it to them and tell them what happened. So I went to go and meet the other 2 guys and said, take salary increase, because I was going to go and I want to keep all of us. It made even the 3 of us even work together better and even serve the company even better.
Wow. Wow.
It's only if you are not giving what you're supposed to give that anybody will tell you to walk away. If you're giving what you're supposed to give and you're helping the business, no business person will want you to leave. Nobody that sees you as indispensable and very valuable will want you to leave a business. Not even one person. They will do anything to keep you there. Anything to keep you there. But if they realize that, you know what? Yeah, go. You'll only be down for 3 months. We get another person to do your job. You're not that smart at the end of the day. Yeah. Yeah. If a business is not fighting for you to stay, that means you're not that good. Yeah, they're not fighting for you to stay. It says, okay, no, we cannot afford what they are giving you. Do you understand? It's going to be a loss on us. We are really sad that you have to leave. Thank you very much and go. Then go.
I actually love the perspective of it. It shifts completely from the angle that people keep saying, build your business, entrepreneurship, build your business.
And I appreciate the whole entrepreneurship and build your business. But you see, at the end of the day, people are building. You're saying entrepreneurship and build your business. You want people to be building skyscrapers. People are building huts.
Whoa.
They're building small huts.
Whoa. That's true.
All the small huts.
Combine them together.
That does not still do anything. Do you get what I mean?
Wow.
If we can get that together to build one that is challenging this one, it's okay. Yeah, now we are talking. You don't have the skill set, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have anything, but you're building a business. You just start building small. All you have is small. And all those small ones, in fact, it keeps the industry or the sector very fragmented. Right? It's something like fashion now becomes funny because today, if somebody cannot do something, he will get one of those small ones and say a leading fashion designer. You go on the platform and you're saying absolute nonsense. And guess what? You're not confusing the guys behind you, thinking that, oh, this person is making a lot of sense. I'm still learning. I offer my service to fashion design. Like when they're doing fashion shows, I'm like, I'll happily help you. Do you know what I mean? Because I know how to do that very well. But there's no way I'm helping you. I'm not learning something. I like to interact with young designers too, to get a perspective in life and see where they are, where at the point in time. You know, I will learn from that. In the places that have failed in fashion, I researched to find out, why did I fail? What made this thing work for me? You know, I'm thinking of, maybe I should have 2 or 3 other brands. I could have pseudo brands and nobody knows I'm the owner of the brand, but I'm making money because people like cheaper things that are not badly tailored in Ankara outfit, which doesn't fit into what I do right now. But I can just do that on the side and monetize it. But if you like making Ankara and you worked for me, that could be your pet project. And if you do it so well, I'll give you 20% of that business. So you're the owner of the business. You own 20%. How many of these big companies own the 100% of their businesses? How many?
None, sir. None
Exactly.
of these global brand own 100%.
They don't own 100% of their businesses. So we get it wrong. We say we're not doing business. We're doing social enterprise.
Wow.
We're not as knowledgeable. Even me that I'm talking, I'm not as knowledgeable. I'm learning every day. So people always say that thing, start a business. Like, it's great to start a business, but hey, how many businesses would you look at in the last 10 years that are started and you say, you are really a successful business? Not because you are getting things in the media, because you yourself know that you have achieved a certain level of financial freedom, right? And your product can be measured with any product anywhere in the world. Look at how international brands play. They're all trying to come into here. How many of us are trying to go there? Look at how many Chinese cars we have in this country all of a sudden. It's affordable, it's cheaper, they're providing services, and they are here. Many brands are international are trying to break into more countries. And many of our brands are trying to break overseas. Wouldn't it be nice to go out there and see Dangote salt in London?
And what do you think should be the role of government in all of this?
Everything. Everything. That's the sad part, is everything. The role of government is everything. Is Boris even trying to broker a deal for exports, for products? We do the whole thing that we are supposed to be free trade in West Africa. Try to carry a bag of clothes from here to Ghana. They'll stop you at the airport. You will pay excess and duties.
Clothes?
Yes.
What if you say they are personal clothes?
No, then you're not doing the right way. As a business person, it's supposed to be a free trade.
Okay.
On the continent, I think in West Africa, where you can take your product and go and sell in Ghana. You can go and take it and sell in Ivory Coast. But when you get to the airport, they will tell you to stop. And they will ask you to pay. But we're supposed to be doing a free trade thing. I think it's got Goa or whatever they call that thing. So why don't we implement it to the nitty-gritty? Really, why don't we just do that? Why the government not tell you that, okay, come, we'll find the documentation, this is how you do the process. When you get there, this is what you should do, this is that. I will happily do that. But they're not doing that. If we provided for Africa, we'd be a wealthy country, Nigeria. If we only provided for Africa.
Yeah. Now, when you're saying all of this, at what point then can you now tell somebody, okay, ensure you build your own business? Maybe someone will say, I don't desire, I want to have my own name, I want to have a business, a global brand. At what point can you tell someone, okay, focus on it and make sure you build it?
I think if your brand is bringing something that is different, and see, if something that is different, right, you can tell what the brand can turn around in a very short period. It's not rocket science. I watch Dragons Den when they come and pitch for businesses and pitch their business to get money and grants. They are businesses that everybody wants to invest in. That's how you know the guy should be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Come and pitch. Let me hear you. Do you get what I mean? There's some things that made a lot of sense. Then when we used to buy recharge cards, you are going around MTN, I'll not get MTN again. Oh, Airtel, I'll not get Airtel again. Somebody went to do a unifying card. I think they even did it then. You don't need to be on any of the networks. And you can buy it for any network.
Oh, wow.
Just buy the card. MTN, Airtel, whatever one you are on, just use the same card. You just use a different step key if you're here or here. That sounds like a brilliant idea. Someone came to meet you then with that kind of idea. You're like, oh, start your business.
Okay.
But someone else comes to me and says, oh, I want to sell recharge cards again.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great business to do. But there are like 50 guys on the road selling it right now. So What difference are you making? Then someone now provided the solution in the software where you can just recharge from your phone. That killed all that business. So if that person at that point in time said I needed investment, all you have to do is from your home, you can recharge your phone. That sounds like a bit. You should be an entrepreneur. Come on now, invest in that. It's like someone coming to meet you right now and says, "Oh, recharge cards are dead. Nobody's doing them again. I want to resurrect recharge cards. I want to start selling recharge cards." Is that a business? Oh, but that's what the person wants to do as an entrepreneur. Do you get what I mean?
I get you deeply.
So it's funny. It's like someone once said, "I want to run a poultry because I want to do this." The guy said, "Okay, yes, we want to sell chickens and eggs and stuff." Okay, you know what? Start buying eggs from the poultry and start selling eggs first of all, and see how much money you make before you start a poultry.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to sell eggs. It's the chicken. Guy, sell eggs. Because if you sell eggs, you can sell chickens. That's the way it should work.
Wow.
It's bigger than just say, I wake up one day and say, I want to be an entrepreneur. It's not a very sweet journey. Like I said, if you give me a good deal today,
It's a lot. Now, entrepreneurship, they say it's a survival game in this country. Now, what do you think separate those that actually succeed and those that are nearly succeeding?
I think the people that are thinking like me are the ones succeeding. The ones that are not thinking like me are not succeeding. Period. It's a mind game, and it's also a game of constant evolution and thinking. I'm saying this right now. There's another person in fashion that everything I'm saying, he did it 4 years ago, and he's thinking, dude, you need to catch up, man. This is where we are. You get what I mean? I look at my friends that are now digital, that are selling things by the click of a button. They don't have to sit down here and say, "Oh, welcome to Atafo. How you doing? Please sit down." No. They're sitting somewhere and all they're getting is emails of new order. They're going back, putting the things in back, sealing them up, writing nice love letters inside and sending off. Giving it, the DHL will come, they throw it inside DHL. That's gone. They've done their sale for the day. But after that, sit down, do the consultation. That's what you want. Okay, fine. We'll call you back for the fabric. I will now go to the market, check for the fabric. It's no longer there. Call international people. Oh, fabric. Okay, fabric is coming in 5 days' time. You have to pay for this, pay for that. Get the fabric in again. This is the fabric. Then my tailor is sewing it. He cuts it wrongly because he thought it was a different style. Then I have to order the fabric again. Do this whole thing again. Then the customer is angry. Then I'm begging him. Sorry for the delay. He's telling me I want to use for my wedding. And I'm going through all that motion. Because I'm doing this kind of business. When I could have done the other one, you just click, buy. And because you think you're all right. Like, I was on Instagram today and I saw Hers and Curtis in the UK talking about their made-to-measure service. It's not new. They've been doing that forever. They're advertising it this morning. I asked myself, when last did you even advertise that you actually offer tailored services on Instagram? I can't even remember if I've ever done that.
Is it intentional?
No, because there's definitely a gap. I'm not doing my marketing properly. Because you have to remind people. For everybody you're reminding, there's somebody that's hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
That's why Coke is still advertising.
Yes. They advertise every day. Now, what advice do you give to young entrepreneurs who are struggling to finance their business?
Just your business needs financing. That's what I always ask people first of all. You think the issue is financing. Probably it's not financing. It could be a systems issue. It could be a strategy issue. It could be a focus issue, not a finance issue.
How do you mean system, strategy, and focus?
You don't have a system on how to get customers through the door. You don't have a system on how to retain the customers that have come in through the door. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
Focus on that first. When someone starts to tell you, I need money to do that, then the person is not a business person. Finance is not your problem. Because by the time I give you money, first thing you will do is to open a store next to my store to show me that you're bigger than me. Meanwhile, you should be an online business.
At what point do you know that you need finance?
I always tie finance to growth. When it feels like my demand is crushing my supply. And if I get the money, I'll be able to fulfill my demand seamlessly. Then if money is the only thing that I need to do that, then yes. Or if I'm trying to offer a certain kind of service, I will improve my business. And I cannot do the service because I don't have the money. I need money to actually get that. Then yes. But apart from that, no.
And you've classified those that actually need finance. How do you classify those that are just saying they need finance when it's not finance that they need?
When they tell you what they want to use it for. And when you look at where their business is, you can tell that they just want to have fun. And they may not even know, it may be ignorance. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not aware that, you know what, I can try to do this for another 6 months on my lean budget. And it could give me what I need to push on.
Now, people often say luxury fashion is often inaccessible to average Africans. Then how do you handle such kind of critics?
It's true. You just said luxury and average. Those two words don't go together. I mean, to be honest, guy, I really love a Bentley, but I can't afford it. It's not available to me. I still can work hard until I can get a Bentley. It is simple. People believe that everything I make in Nigeria is for everybody. It's not for everybody. Some things are for a chosen few.
Now, what inspired you to launch your wedding by Mai?
That was way back in 2011 when we looked at the numbers in the business. I realized that most of the money we were making came from people that were ordering things for wedding.
Okay.
Either a wedding suit, or they want to make bridesmaids outfit, or to make a wedding dress. It just kind of like said that these people were actually giving us more money, so we tried to focus on them. That was why we launched it.
Okay. And so far it has been more.
Oh, we had a grace period in the early years. It's not our main focus anymore right now. Okay. We still do it, but definitely not as big as it was years ago.
Okay.
Definitely not as big as it was years ago, because the trends have changed. The market has become very dynamic, and we are definitely not the leaders.
Now, you see, piracy and copying are something that people actually do with design, like you mentioned about it earlier on. So how do you guys do to see that thing is being stopped?
It's a tough one, man. It's a very tough one. It's a very tough one.
So it's not possible to do that?
It is possible. It's if you now make the repercussions and the consequences of copying very grave, then it is possible. Just like kidnapping in Edo State, and they made it a punishable by death offense. It went down drastically. So if people are going to pay penalties for actually copying people's work, and again, we have to now go and register our designs as intellectual property, right? And the offense for copying was also as grave for both the person that is wearing it and the person that is actually making it. Then we stop it. Because some people that are wearing it, they are fully aware of what they're doing. Even yesterday, somebody still brought a picture of another designer to my office to make.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So what would you do? Would you reject?
So you reject it straight up. No, we can't make it. And sometimes we actually hear, this is the designer, and go and meet the designer to make it.
But many people do take it, collect immediately, and
that's what I said, because it's not a punishable offense. If when you're taking, you know that if that cloth makes it to Instagram and somebody reports it that it is copied, it's a criminal offense for you and the person that is wearing it. People won't do it. Then when you're smuggling cars from Cotonou here, those good old days, when you're driving it in Lagos on the street, they will ask you, where are your papers? And this car is smuggled now. You're the one suffering. It's not the person that smuggled it for you. Sometimes you're never aware that it was brought in illegally into the country. But you are the one that will suffer it. If it's like that, then we'll start seeing changes. But for now, they don't regard us enough in the fashion industry to even try to put those kind of things to protect our intellectual property.
Yeah.
That's right, they don't.
And that's
internationally, it's already done for music and stuff, so they enjoy that.
But even fashion internationally, is it done for them?
It is, yes, it is.
I mean, you cannot go and copy one of the fashion.
A few times, a lot of people have paid and settled out of court.
Wow.
For copying things. People sue people. Louis Vuitton sued Dior and Zara for the red bottom, even though they lost. because red is not a unique color; it's a generic color. And the sole of the shoe was not seen to be on every shoe as a sole. So if you put red on that day, you don't own red, so you can't do it.
Yeah.
But there's a Senegalese brand called Tongoro that a brand copied their bag and they settled them out of court. South African company brand too called Mancosa. I like to pronounce it Mancosa.
Yeah.
And somebody copied their work. I think it was Zara, and they settled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you talked about, there's something you said earlier on about we valuing what we have here. Most people, said they like to put value on international fashion designers and those at home here. So how do you create that appeal to see that the same way they see the ones outside there, they can also see that same appeal here for the ones home here?
And that's why I say about colonial mentality. In this case, instead of educating them, you use them. So make your things appeal more to people over there. Let them see that the people over there are wearing it. They won't see how we respect it.
Okay.
That's what happened with our music.
And it's true. It's very true.
You are turning the colonial mentality on the head of the people. Instead of saying, appreciate me, I'm really good, take it to where it's appreciated. When they realize you're being appreciated, they'll value you more here. It's very stupid, but yeah, it is what it is. And again, it's not even like that. It's the same thing that works for me. It's like someone tells me, oh, come and do an operation in the hospital in Lagos. And I say, I know. If someone gives you a chance to go and do it overseas, you go overseas to do it. So it's kind of like the same thing at the end of the day. So I even fall into the same group of people.
Wow. Now, how do you balance the international appeal with African authenticity? Like, if outside there, you need to ensure that for people to value it out there, they also have to value it out there. You need to make them to see the value there. How do you ensure that you make outside people to be able to see the value in what you're producing for them to appreciate it?
I think you should just do good work. Just do good work. The world is a village right now. It's a global village. Somebody will see what you're doing. Just do impeccable work. And once the chance comes for the person that's overseas to see it and engage with it, when you give it to them, they love it. That could be your breakthrough.
Well, maybe you need to do something intentionally to expand to that place.
I mean, people say that, and I've tried a few of those things myself. I don't see it as, yes, you should make moves if you have the chance to make moves, but don't make it your priority. Win here first, and the world will see you.
Win here first.
Yeah, win here first. Win here. Go through the... And again, I'm generalizing. Some people here that actually see the value in what you're doing, and they will give you your flowers here. Do you get what I mean? There are some of them.
Well, is it possible for we to have a global force, as in a global fashion design from home here, that globally recognized out there?
It's hard because we're not educating the world on how to wear what we make. I don't think we've told the white man how to wear kaftan. How to wear to...
But they don't need to be taught. They just need to see it.
Because they've told you how to wear theirs.
I think we just see how...
No, they taught you.
How?
Because you know that you should wear a suit to work. It's formal wear. When you want to go to work, you, as a banker, you wear tie. And who taught you that? Because they do it over there. And the appeal gets here. So we've adopted this as formal dressing. Okay. But they always told you this is formal wear. They always educated, this is what you wear to work. This is formal wear. This is evening wear. Your tutu is evening wear. You wear it for dinner parties and stuff. Who has done that for Nigerian outfits? For the Agbada? Because there's a way somebody will enter here, right, and Agbada, like, oh boy, they go wedding.
Yes.
How do you know?
Yes.
Why do you think he came for work? So we have it. It's just unwritten. So let us even understand it here. Then let's even push it overseas. So someone overseas can say, no, I'm going for the dinner. I want to wear this damask agbada. But if I'm going to work, I can wear the cotton agbada. Do you get what I mean? We're not even educating ourselves. That's why we're educating the world. If you educate ourselves very, very well, and we're taking that same communication to the world, we know that if you want to dress easy, you wear sneakers and stuff. Who told you that's casual wear? Why can't you wear that sweatpants and joggers and wear it to work in the morning?
Wow.
It's so much that they've educated you so much, it's not part of your subconscious that you think they didn't educate you.
Wow. Wow.
They educated you.
It's true.
Yeah.
You just do it subconsciously because you just believe that this is what should be done at this point in time.
That's because they've educated you. Brushing your teeth in the morning is education. Somebody read it to your head that brush your teeth before you leave home. Brush your teeth in the morning before you eat. After when you wake up, brush it. That's how you started doing the way you're doing it. So there's education. Education doesn't have to be in a class. There's a reason why you dressed the way you dressed today to come and interview me. You made an effort to wear a waistcoat and a shirt and pair of trousers because you come to a fashion house to meet someone that dresses mixed kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a form of good manners. You're showing me respect by the way you're dressed. And I acknowledged it. Because you could have come here in t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah.
But you thought differently. If I ever interviewing Rema, you could have worn t-shirt and jeans.
It's true.
There you go. Because it's in the culture where that is the norm for them, and he sees it at school.
Wow.
You have been educated. You're showing good manners. So I see you right now, and I respect the fact that you did this, and I've acknowledged it, even in my head, without even saying the word. I was like, oh wow, this boy has respect for me. He actually made an effort to dress like this. So I'm happy. I will sit down and do the interview properly. Not that I won't do it if you wore jeans and t-shirts. But I know you didn't put in the effort. That means I'm not the one that matters. You are the one that mattered. You came the way you represented yourself. Some people say those things like Mark Zuckerberg wears t-shirts everywhere.
Yeah.
But when he wants to see the president, he wears a suit and a tie.
Yes.
He's richer than the president. He might as well just wear his t-shirt there too. Where he wears a suit and tie. It's a mark of respect. It's good manners. So we're not educating them. That's why our things cannot move there.
Wow.
And if we don't do that, they will pick it and use it the way they deem it right. That's why you say, when they say, oh, African gathering overseas, you see them when they're like, you guys are trying too hard. That's what we say over here. But we didn't educate them.
True.
You know, the annoying part is sometimes when we are going for the African gathering overseas, we not dress like they dress when they're going for the same African thing.
And it's true.
We are not losing our own identity because that's not the way we will dress normally.
Then who sets the standard for what is right in fashion?
It's not, like I said again, overseas, they have set the standard for what is right and what is wrong. You know it. You even know the one in Nigeria. Someone has set it. Everything starts from somewhere. How did this start that we started wearing traditional outfits on Fridays? It was a government. It was passed on by the government then. I think it was in the 70s. In order to boost the Nigerian economy, they told people to start wearing Nigerian clothes to work every Friday.
This is the first time I'm hearing it.
A long time ago. And that was what has cascaded down to today.
I observed people doing it and I just joined without actually knowing why.
There's education at every point in time. That's why when people are angry with Gen Zs and co, I'm like, no, don't be, because they ask the why. They ask the why, because they don't want to move with the crowd. They're like, why are you doing this? Why? And we get angry. Oh my God, these Gen Z people are doing that. No. It has to make sense to them. That's why I like those ones. Because they challenge me. And to be honest, when you answer their whys and it makes sense to them, you see that they comply. It doesn't make sense to them that they do not comply.
Then how do we educate them? Because when you're mentioning we need to educate them for them to also see this part of our fashion also and be able to represent it there. How do we educate them? They've been able to indoctrinate us with their own mindset and sense of fashion. And we have taken it as a norm. In fact, people can fight and insult and yap people online and things like that. You can appear at a place, maybe wearing normal kaftan or things like that. And they will say, look at this local man. Should I put on suit or things like that? And so how do we able to start educating people afresh?
With every platform, this is your platform. We can educate people on this platform. You can sit with authorities and they can actually say things that will make it work. We can try to go and start a publication. There are many ways to educate people.
Can our movies make it work?
Of course, that's one of the biggest ways to use it.
Because that's where I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
why don't we act it through that way and see that it goes in a different mindset entirely.
During our free, if we had the conversation of why don't these guys even just talk to fashion designers more to try to tell the story?
Yes.
Because they always say they don't have the budget. And they'll come and meet you 2 weeks to when the movie is about to start shooting. They tell you that you only have 1 week to produce the garments. But they rented the camera a year ago. They spoke to the guys that side. They wrote their script. They went over. They've been working on this movie for the last 3 years. But the close can be ready a week to the movie. We're not respecting each other.
Because we can change the mindset entirely. Like in a movie, when people are going to bank, they can wear Nigerian wear, attires and things like that.
If you see how they do it in the movie, you probably can start taking that on board. I mean, till now, if you're a bad guy in the movie, you wear black. How did that start?
And it's true. Wear black shit.
There's always a stereotype of who is good and who is bad in the movie. You kind of like get to know. The guy in the corner wearing a black suit and black sunglasses and has a cigarette in his mouth and not saying much word. That is a bad guy.
That's a bad guy. It's like the way they said the devil has horns, black, ugly, and things like that.
They've used their movies to tell us they've broken it down. But we are not using ours to do anything.
Wow.
Wow. At every point in time, they sell. And I think they see it as important. That's why they do it. Like America is making so much money from entertainment that they would not want to give that to anybody else in the world. They don't want it to go anywhere else. They want to make the best movies, the best blockbusters, so no other person comes to take their shine. Because if you do it, they're taking their revenue. I should sit down here and watch an American movie. They're making money in America. So that's why they will block yours from coming that way. So you don't take that revenue. Because if they lose entertainment, they've probably lost everything.
Now, what do you envision for the African fashion industry in the next 10 years?
I think our industry will only grow to the strength of our creativity.
Okay.
Not to the strength of our business acumen. And I know there are a lot of creative people there with a lot of passion to do this thing. And those guys are the ones that will lead the frontier to make us recognizable globally and make it sustainable for the ones that have started doing the job today. In terms of being global fashion houses, it's realistic. It's almost close to impossible. Yeah, it's not like it's not doable. It's doable, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Now, if you have to advise the government on what they should do to help creatives, are they doing enough, or what do they need to do?
I don't think they're enough. Are they doing anything? Is the question should ask yourself.
Nothing at all.
They're not doing anything.
So what should they do? What do you advise? If there are things you are going to list, maybe the government officials are listening.
They should do everything. They should, first of all, if you're a fashion designer and you're producing in this country, they should put you on band A and ensure that you pay band C.
Band A, pay band C.
Yeah. They should incentivize you.
Okay.
Because we pay more than minimum wage. They struggle to pay minimum wage as a government. They deliberate minimum wage for God knows how long so people can get 80K a month. I get my ends more than 80K a month. And when they did that, you're like, if you're paying less than that in your private something, you'll be alright. I'm like, dude, you're the only ones paying this kind of shit money. That's how disconnected they are from the realities. That's how disconnected they are. The next thing is that state is doing something for fashion that they would purchase 1,000 sewing machines, put it in one huge hall, and tell people, come and learn. We'll pay you money to learn. If you're trying to pay me money to learn, I'll go and learn now. I just want to learn. I just take the money. 3 months later, you graduate me from the tailoring school and tell me to go and look for a job, and I can never sew a straight line, and nobody hires me. But I earned for the 3 months that I was there. Thank you.
Now, what has been the most rewarding moment in the fashion industry? What has been your most rewarding so far?
I don't think I have one rewarding moment. I think there's just a few peak moments for me that I celebrate. It could be like first time I was invited to Harvard to come and speak. That was definitely a moment. I didn't believe that what I was doing here at home as a fashion designer would take me to that kind of place to have a conversation. And I've been invited in total of 3 times, and I think that's totally amazing. Having my clothes displayed in the Victoria and Albert Museum was definitely a moment that, again, the young me that started this thing years ago didn't even think It was on the radar. Wasn't there a conversation to be had? You know, even people just even want to order my things from overseas. It's like, how did you know? Where did you know? Even when they're not even Nigerians at all. Yeah, so you have like some rewarding moments like that. You know, walking the runway with Naomi Campbell, it almost seems like that's not even possible for you to do. What do you mean? You know, and that happens. So yeah,
Now, you've been in this for like 17 years, like you said. At what point did you think you had your first big break to get your brand to get recognized?
I think my first award was a big break, and it was given to me by City People.
How long ago?
Oh, gosh, forever ago. But maybe like 13 years ago. We're officially 14 years now, so I think I got into the first year. 13 or 12 years ago, it was the hottest new designer. It meant something. It meant something. We received many awards after them, but that was like the first one. And I still have it somewhere. It meant something. You know, like people that are thinking that you are good enough. I mean, we won numerous awards after them, but I think that was definitely
because sometimes people once people are starting up something, before you start getting recognized, maybe you have to work with someone or one big brand or one big individual personality or things like that.
Yeah.
Is there something that happened for you that got your brand to be recognized, and then all the awards start coming up?
I mean, I think doing Celebrity Takes Two and dressing Pasuma was that's the first celebrity I ever dressed. But I think, again, I'll look at the financial side. The first time I got an order of over ₦1 million from an individual, you know, who happened to be a minister, you know, that was huge. That means that, you know, like Nigerians will say, you are now serving the elites.
Yeah.
That felt really good. They thought I was worthy enough to be able to produce things that they could wear at that level. That's a long time ago, and that was good.
Did you do some free services when you started? Because some people encourage that, do some free works and all of that, and do some build a brand and grow.
I hate using the word free word. I think you should do some strategic work.
Okay.
When you say strategy, that means that you're getting something in return for it. When you say free, that means you're giving it away with nothing for it. If you give us something free, you're not expecting anything in return.
Okay.
That's why it's free. If it's strategic, that means you're expecting something in return. So do strategic.
I may not necessarily be money.
No, it doesn't have to be. But you get something in return. So do that kind of thing.
Okay, now how do you maintain healthy life balance?
Does it exist?
It just what?
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist?
It doesn't exist.
Why did you say so? People admonish that over and over again.
I don't know, it doesn't exist. I'm just happy I have a very supportive family. And my wife is part of my business, so she knows what goes on. So I'm just happy that she understands to that point. But it's not balanced. I get home day dark every single day. It's definitely not balanced. I'm trying to work towards that, but trying to build a team that can do it in your absence and all that's a bit challenging. But yeah,
now,
at the point in time, doesn't exist.
You talked about the fact that having tailors to stay and can be challenging. Is there a model that you think you have created for yourself that can be able to use to retain your tailors?
No, I even tell to the young ones till tomorrow. No, there's no model. I pay them a lot of money, but they still misbehave. I don't know if anybody has cracked it, and if they have done, they should let me know. Because I sure haven't cracked it.
Wow. Now, if you had the power to change one thing in the Nigerian creative industry, what would it be?
If for people to pay for the value of what they're getting, I'd be happy to pay it. That's what I'll change. If you're getting great value, pay for it. If you're not getting good value, then don't pay for it. I think that will help. It will help everybody step that game up. Because some people wear things and they know that they're terrible. And they'll still say, this is one of the best. You're lying. It's not right, because the other people will suffer the consequences of your lie. Because you have said it's the best, somebody wants to go get it and the person is not satisfied. The person probably doesn't have the channel to say what you said was the best is terrible. They'll just have that sad taste in their mouth and move on. People should just say the truth about what they're wearing. If it's bad, don't say it. If it's good, say it. But don't say when it is bad and say it is good. Or because you got it for free, you know, say this is one of the best. You know, I mean, I can't change that. It happens every day, but I think it's not a good thing.
And maybe it could just be positive confession.
That's not positive conversion. If you go to a restaurant and there's too much salt in the soup, you say there's too much salt in the soup. You won't say it's the best soup you've had.
Now, if there's a fashion designer that is aspiring to be like you, or that likes your status and saying, okay, I want to, because you inspire lots of people, as in a lot of people. I don't think you have an idea of how much inspiration you are to many people. So if someone out there is saying, I want to be like Maya, how do I build my brand, or I want to do something like that, and he's trying to start, what are maybe the 5 top questions or advice you can tell the person to use to examine himself, his or herself, to know, is this something you want to do? Then check it with this to know if it's something you want to do or not, or you should examine it again. Or the advice you can say, okay, if you do this, it's going to work for you.
And like I said, there's no blueprint, so it's going to be hard to say you have to do all those things. But I think, first of all, if it looks like it's not going to make money for you, it's not making money for you, and it sure can't make money for you in the short term, don't do it.
Say that again.
If it's looking like it's not making money for you and can't make money for you in the short term, or it's still not making money for you and you've already started, then stop doing it. That's the first thing that I'm saying. Number 2, if you do not have a knowledge and experience in the particular area you're trying to go into, and you do not have the money to hire the best people to do it for you, don't go into it. Recipe for failure. Number 3, if you do not have the true passion for that thing, when I mean passion, like real passion for it, don't do it. Right. Number 4. What was number 4? Number 4, if you have a chance to start your business or work for another business in the same area you want to do your business. I'm not saying if you want to do ready-to-wear women's wear, come and work for me. That's not the exact same thing. If you want to be a custom-made, bespoke, made-to-measure suit maker, right? And you have the chance to work for someone in that capacity, work for the person in the capacity, don't start yours.
Okay.
That'll be number 4. Number 5, commit everything to the Lord. After you have done every other thing.
Commit everything.
Don't commit to the Lord first and do every other thing. Do every other thing, then commit it to the Lord.
People say commit first before. Because they say commit your ways unto the hands of God and He shall direct your path. How can you now start running without asking God for the direction? He will direct.
Oh, fine. Like I said, you start somewhere, right? When direction hits you, go another way, right? Start. Because you need that energy of starting to go to whatever direction it blows you to.
Some people will say they believe to hear from God before they start.
I don't know if God speaks to you directly. I don't know. Do you have his number? Let me call him so he can talk to me. Because it's another level of spiritual level you get to where you can actually say that I can clearly hear what God is saying to me. That thing is a very, again, I'm a Christian and I believe in God. But I think for God to talk to you, your level of spirituality is like you hear it clear and you do it. Our level of spirituality is gangster, man. It's like we always get feelings. Like, again, this is something that's happened to me a lot in my life, and I believe that when I see God do things in my life, like God did this. Like, I say I want to do something. Like, you know what? I want to start doing this in my business. I don't know where to even start from, but it's something I really like to do in my business. Then 3 weeks later, I just get an email from someone who says, "Oh, hello, how are you doing? We produce so and so and so things, and that if you're interested, this," and that's what I thought I was doing. I was trying to get an answer to. So this kind of thing, I just said, "Man, this is God." And that's happened to my business many times. Even like some stuff, like I want to just get rid of this person right now because this person is really, really crap. The person walks into my office the other next week and goes like, "I want to have a conversation with you. I want to resign." I'm like, "Jesus, Father, Lord, thank you very much. You are good." You know, I don't know if you heard me when I was thinking, but But those things happen a lot in my business. A lot of times. I just think of something and like, it'd be nice for this to happen, and it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yes, I believe that God has a say in everything.
But some people, the direction I want you to see it is the person is talking about becoming like you or producing something like you. What does it mean to be like you? What is it going to take for someone to be able to see?
That's the steps I've taken. I've told you all the steps.
Okay, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Because at the end of the day, I think the other thing I would say, which is more fashion-wise, is that there's brand and there's product. Right? You can fail in doing a product and can get it right and you'll be fine. But if you fail where you're building your brand or something hits your brand and your brand dies, it's hard to wake up from it. Be a personal brand or a business brand. If they said that, oh, so-and-so sugar brand, the sugar that I'm making now is bad. You saw a rat inside. All right? It has affected the brand. Before they come back from that, they'll be doing some PR. But if the product itself, the quality dropped a little bit, something like that, it's easier to fix the product, right?
Yeah.
And come back on top. But I think that example is even wrong with the ratting, because that even affects the product. But if you hear that the particular brand is using children to work in the factory, you know what I mean? It's like, they're not ethical, they're not good people. If you make a mistake with products, you can correct it by saying, oh, we're very sorry. We're taking every step to ensure that this is. People will listen to you. So in fashion, I said the same thing. Don't do things that will hurt your brand. If your product is wrong, one customer is angry, you can do a do-over and get it right. But if your brand does something totally wrong, it is bad. And product and brand are different. But your product has to be 100%.
Okay.
Sometimes we make clothes and we know that they are not really good. We know.
It's true.
But we still give it to the customer. That's not good.
That's not good at all.
That's not good. Many designers watching this thing know what I'm talking about. You have done something, you can do it better. You're meant to stitch some pattern, you glued it. You did something wrong. Yeah, it's not good. I make my clothes that you should be able to wear the clothes for 10 years. Not for one day.
Yeah. There's one rule you're going to give us building a sustainable brand. What is it going to be?
Innovation. Always innovate. Always bring in something new. Don't be stagnant in what you do. Try as much as possible to innovate.
If you were in your 20s, what advice would you give your younger self?
I told you I'm not in my 20s.
I said, if you were.
Who told you I'm not in my 20s? This is going to be very difficult, but it's hard to say. It's like if I'm in my 20s, think like you're in your 40s. I think a lot of your behaviors and your goals will change.
Seriously?
Yeah, if you could think like you're in your 40s, it would help you. That means you have to speak to a lot of people that are older than you to understand their perspective and why they do what they do. Rather than say, why are people doing this thing? You people are old. No. I would have loved to engage with people that are older than me, way older. Even like now, I like to talk to people that are in their 60s, 70s, because they've seen it. And they can crystallize it in such a way that you couldn't have ever done it. There's a reason why your dad failed in what he was doing. And why your dad isn't Dangote. And he can tell you now.
That was true.
Do you understand? He can tell you now that this is what I did wrong. But when he was doing it then, he didn't know. Wow. Yeah, so if I could think like I was in my 40s, it'd be great because I'll see life differently. And that's when I mentor people, I tell people things that I didn't do. I'm saying you should do it. So people think, why are you trying to make us work 10 times harder when you didn't do it? I said, because I now know what the effect of not doing it has done to me. I went to fashion school 5 years after I started my brand. 5 years.
Wow.
Now I tell people to go before they start.
Before they start.
But people look at me and think, yeah, you're trying to slow me down. Look at you, look at her. I'm like, no. If I'd done that at the beginning, I'll be better off. Yeah.
Now, what legacy do you hope to leave in fashion and what's in life generally?
I came my sons, I conquered and I lived it. I say this thing and people think I'm being funny. It'll be very, very hard for my brand to outlive me. And I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
If your brand don't outlive you?
Yeah, if the brand doesn't outlive me.
Are you serious?
It's a tough one for your brand to outlive you.
Wow.
It's very tough. Nigerian institutions that have outlived their founders, or their founders are dead and the brand is still very okay. Name. I'll wait for you.
Very few.
Some of them are still alive and the brands are gone.
Abiola is
Even in YM, there was another Igbo man that had something tech at that time. You know, it's a very tough one. So when people are trying to act like they have a magic thing that will make the brand outlive them, I'm like, okay, God give you life. It's very hard, say in Nigeria, because we run our businesses like we own the businesses, not like the community owns the business. So rather say our son take over than the guy that has worked there for 20 years take over. That's where it starts from. Yeah.
Because most people believe that a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. So you should work
Leave
towards
your
that.
inheritance for your children. Don't leave your business for your children. Your business
Business
is
is
not
an
your
inheritance.
It's not. The money from the business is the inheritance, not the business.
One of the most successful secrets of the Jews is successive businesses. So
Yeah.
isn't that an inheritance?
The business is successful. It doesn't mean you run it. I think that mindset we have to change. I own the business, right? I am the owner and I'm running the business, right? Great. I own the business, but I'm not part of the business. I'm not the one running the business. So it's a successful business, but I'm not running it. The fashion label is here. It has a creative director, it has an accountant, it has everything, but I'm a farmer in my village. Who owns it? Me. Who runs it? Not me. Because again, I'm not even in tune with the times. I'm not in tune with the things that are changing. Sure, I can be a fisherman in the village, but own the business. My name doesn't have to be on the door. It doesn't. Who is Christian Dior? Is he living somewhere in Paris? No. Of all the big brands that I think it's only Prada that still has family, and I think Salvatore Ferragamo that still have family lineage working for the brand names. The Gucci family has no business with Gucci. Is it a successful business? Yes. They're not even benefiting from it. That's even a different story. There's some businesses that have their names, but the person that owns, the family that started it, they are not involved in it. Today in Nigeria, I see that you own a business and you want to be up front, center, back, front, behind the whole business. If you gave me a chance, I'll have people run this business and I'll be invincible. I'll be very happy with myself. To me, that's ultimate success.
The goal is not about becoming a billionaire in dollars.
You can be a billionaire in dollars. Doesn't mean you have to be the face of the company that makes you a billionaire in dollars.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that they have to tie you to what makes you. Just like we're talking about Apple. What was it? Steve Jobs. He probably owns a huge percentage in the business. He's not alive. If he has any kids, maybe he passed on all the shares to the kids. But the kids are not the CEO or CEO of Apple right now. Are they making that money? Yes, they're making the money. Are they involved in it? Probably not. I don't know. I'm just saying, this is hypothetical. Yes, anybody knows about that story. But do you get what I mean? I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect.
Wow.
Dangote will probably outlive Aliko.
Yeah.
Most probably will outlive Aliko. I don't know if I can say the same thing for Adenuga and Glow.
Network is something that from generations people will be using SIM card, so it
No,
could.
you use, but it's like in terms of running it, he's very active in running it.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? You don't know who owns Guinness or Diageo or MTN. You don't know.
And it's true. Yeah, pull up themselves from it.
You don't know what happened. They probably have sold the shares and they have very small shares in it. But you are still making billions, even if you're not doing anything. That's the way we should start thinking. That's the way we should start thinking.
Wow.
Not hard work that begins to imitate slavery to show that you are a business owner. I disagree with that 110%. I don't think that's how you become a business person.
Now, in closing, how do you describe that your philosophy of learn the ropes, master the rules like a fashion design? I mean, mastered rules of fashion like a lawyer and break them like an artist. Why do you say that?
Not even of fashion, that's the rules in general. If for you to be innovative and be groundbreaking in any area, I think you have to know how it works. You have to know how it is built. You have to know the foundation. You have to know how this thing is structured. Once you have observed that, you have learned that, you step back and start imagine you're an artist. How would you make it work? It will still look like it's standing on the foundation, but it looks different. That's what I mean.
That's awesome. Now, how do you constantly update your knowledge? Because you talked about knowledge, trends, and things like that. How do you constantly put yourself in the know?
That's what I use social media to do, unbelievably. That's what I use the internet to do. That's what I use YouTube to do. That's what I use Google to do.
And there are no brands that inspire you that?
Oh yeah, we look at that. But you see, a lot of things come out from brands are not in fashion. They can apply to fashion. So if you keep your eyes only on fashion, you lose it. Right now, I'm more inspired about brands that do well on online retail.
Okay.
So I listen to them. The way my brand is right now, we have a very niche set of customers. Think of how do I retain those guys? That's my big. So look at the people that contribute the money that makes us the business that we are today. When I look at them, I can pull out, okay, is this 100 people? How do I excite this 100 people? Rather than excite the other, God knows how many millions. That's the way I think, and that's the way I'm trying to build my business.
So then if I look at everything you've said so far and put them together, what success means to you is is not really about money. Or how do you describe what success truly means?
Oh, I've always said it's about money. Don't get me wrong. I always say financial success. I've said that many times in this interview.
Yes, you said it.
It's about money.
So to you, that is what it means to you. About how much
It's
money
not
you're going to make.
solely about money. It's that you're giving value and you're monetizing it. So it's about you give value and you're monetizing the value. Not that you're giving value and you cannot monetize it.
Okay.
Or you're not giving value and monetizing it. I'm against that. I think that's unethical. The fact that you're giving value and monetizing it, I think that's great success.
But you know that Facebook and Amazon, they were unprofitable for a period of time, for a long period of time when they started, before they got to profitability. Isn't that something someone can do? Start giving value upfront.
No, you have to look at when you say they were not profitable. That word profitable, you have to look at it critically. Were they making money? Yes. Were they giving people money? Yes. Were they profitable? No. So that's a whole different accounting speak. Because when your company is valued as one of the biggest companies in the world and say they're not making profit, you start to ask the question. It's not being dodgy, but it's a way. Because what they were doing is they were making money and reinvesting it in the business. So it's not that they were broke. Do you know what I mean? They were not broke. They were making money.
From investors, it's not their own money. They were not making their own money. It's investors.
Man makes money from investors, not from his own. That's why I'm saying sell shares. You don't have to own your business 100%. We're saying the same thing. That's why I'm saying that you can be owner of the business or own a major share in business, or even a minute share in the business, even if your name is on it, but you're not supposed to work for the place. You're making money. Those are investors. When I say I want someone to come and work for me and I'll give 20% of the business, he's an investor. He's investing his time, sweat, and knowledge into the business. That's an investment. Investment is not always money. That's an investor. But we like the fact it's our name on the door. Then when they hold the microphone, it's we that are speaking. That, to me, that's wrong. That's not the way you should actually show people how to run businesses. So when we pick examples, and that's what we do as Nigerians, we pick examples and we pick the side that tilts towards our inadequacies.
All bias.
They will now use that and project it to the world.
That's so true.
Listen to the Google, check out Amazon properly and check out Facebook properly and what they were doing. They were making money from a very, very early time, but it wasn't the money they are making now. And the money they were making, they were applying it back into. It doesn't mean that the guy was not living a good life. Because when you take a driving Nigeria, look at it and just take all this money and apply it back into the business and he's tracking the streets.
And isn't that part of the investment?
No, it's wrong. You should not suffer. Yeah, I don't know. I think you like people suffering to show that they are business people. Why must you suffer because you're a business person?
Because you want to build the business.
You don't have to suffer. I tell people that if you're doing a job today and want to quit to do your business, listen, your business should give you at minimum double what you were earning from somebody for you to actually start your business, not the other way around. Don't quit your job and you're earning nothing. That means you are of no value to your business. You're of more value to the company you are working for. And the value that they put on top of you was the salary you were earning.
Sure.
If I leave my job right now as a 9 to 5 and I start my business, the least I should earn is what I was earning before. Or at least double what I was earning before. That's permission for me to live where I was. Not that I should earn zero. If you're earning zero, you have failed. I'm sorry. You can't just go and leave your business at earning zero and just say, oh, I'm struggling from this to this. Struggle is not the... It's like, and we play on that thing so much that it becomes a conversation. We used to tell stories in Nigeria. I started off when I had nothing.
From road to bottom.
Shut up. Like, really, just shut up. Like, so really,
From bottom road, people start
all of a sudden, now people that even have something to start off, they want to also start from nothing because that's where the story starts from. I want to have a conversation with people that are saying, you know what?
Oh my God.
When I started, I met this person, he gave me a connect to this, and my first order was 3,000. Thank you very much. You're intelligent. Not that I was in Japa market looking for one tailor, and the tailor says it's not coming. You're stupid. Because you're doing the same thing that we started doing, and we realized it was wrong, and we changed our model to what we are doing now. Instead, you are starting, you're going back to my failure from 14 years ago. And you say you want to be an entrepreneur in today's day and age. Sorry, you can't. Even if I was to start today, I won't go back to that point. Why are you starting from that point? And it's not about finance, because you're not thinking. You're not thinking. How many places have grown from a booker to a 5-star restaurant?
Wow, and that's true.
How many? You think they didn't have goals? You start at a 5-star restaurant in a smaller place, then you move on to where you want to move on to. Or you start as a 3-star. But you have an idea of what you're trying to do. You move on. The place was in Ikeja. It came to Lekki, it came to VI, it came to this. Now it has 2 floors. But the one in Ikeja had 1 floor. Before it even expanded to the other area. Till now, they're selling you lamb chops and this thing. They're not. They're not. So you cannot say that, oh, I want to start at an amala joint, but my vision is to be selling pasta. You're starting off the wrong foot.
But you know, people could start from somewhere and navigate their way through.
You can start from somewhere, but starting where you want to end. But start small from where you want to end. I can't start learning to play football because I want to play basketball. I can't now. Even our local boys that start from under the bridge, some of them could not make it international when they got a chance to go there.
Yeah.
Because the mentality of how they played wasn't what was going on there. Listen to interviews that footballers give. You will learn that they change the way they behave, what they eat, how they play to fit into the where they want to go to. We, locally, a good footballer is one that can dribble the whole field 7 times and score a goal. Right? Who does that? Who does that now? How many people can play like Maradona this day and age? How many?
Maybe they're not discovered yet.
They're not needed. They're not needed.
You say so?
They are not needed in football. Because it's not very sophisticated. You cannot be as one man, be running through people and 11 people. It's not possible anymore. People have stepped up. They know how to tackle you from this point and this point. The person that is good is the person that has eyes in the side and the back of his head. And when the ball goes, he knows how to trickily pass it to the person that has an open space and they score a goal.
Isn't that what made Ronaldo and Messi what they are today? Dribbling and going.
No. Funny enough, no. They were point men and they could score goals. Right? But if you look at it, right, when you have the opportunity and the chance to do something, you will do it. But that's not what you are meant to do 100% of the time. That's what I'm saying. That kind of expertise now begins to die off as everything becomes sophisticated. The game is getting more sophisticated. You can't have somebody. You have someone that is controlling the team in terms of distributing balls, making quick moves and passing like that. But that superhero that gets the ball, the JJ or culture that will dribble the whole thing and this and that, you don't have them anymore. In football, they're just wearing off gradually because it's now becoming more of a team sport whereby we have to look for ways to push things here and there.
Do you think that's the reason why JJ Okocha didn't go to the top of his career?
No, he got to the top of his career. I would say he got to the top of his career, right? At where he played and what his skill set was at the point in time. If it was in a different league, maybe he would have played differently. Look at Bellingham. In England, he was just an alright guy. In Madrid, look at what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? That place gave him somewhere that he could actually do what he could do properly.
Yeah, yeah.
Harry Kane was in Madrid too. Harry Kane to me is not one of the best strikers in the world. He's not. Do you get what I mean? But he can bang in goals. So the ball is like Rashidi Yekini. You know, if I look at the top strikers, we'll put in the ball. Yekini wasn't the playmaker. Amokachi was a playmaker. Do you understand? Olise was a distributor. He will see you from where he was and he will give you that pass and drop it on your left toe. So it's like things change. It's very, very dynamic. As everything evolves, the way things happen now begin to change. So the way you play may not be able to give us anything.
Yeah.
If you're the one guy that knows how to get the ball in the midfield and can look around and can go this way and be driving this way, but what you really want to do is create space for that place. So everybody's chasing you this way, and when you have the chance to pass it there, you're the guy everybody will want. Now, football is very tactical. You're trying to distract people with your moves you are making. Not go at them head on head and try to like dribble them out. The defenders are sharper now. Do you get what I mean? So things are evolving. You cannot be me if you started the way I started. You can only be me if you're thinking of how I want to end and you are thinking of the same way. That's when you can be me. So when people are going back to go and start, like, I'm sorry, man, it's not working.
Wow, this is very insightful conversation. And if I want us to continue, but we will not leave here. But what could be your final words that you're going to say or share to people, advice generally, aside from all what we said so far?
I don't think, if you're in the fashion industry, think of it as a fashion business. Think more as a fashion entrepreneur rather than a fashion designer. Because what you do, you probably do 80% of the work is more entrepreneurship. 20% is designing. You design it, you have to now sell your work. You have to make people appreciate it. People know about it. All that is not fashion designing anymore. It's not fashion business. You know. And again, do not have to suffer to be a successful fashion designer. You work hard, but you don't work stupidly. All right? That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate this time. Thank my guest, Mai Atafo, for this very, very, very highly incredible interview. It's a totally different shift from in mindset with all other interviews that we've had when it comes to entrepreneurship, business. This is a totally new shift, new mindset entirely. And I hope you really appreciate this. And if you appreciate it, like this video, share with those this is going to impact. And if you have how people can be able to reach out to you for anything.
Reach out to me personally on Instagram, Mai Atafo on Instagram. And the business is Atafo. On Instagram, if you want to order clothes, go to Atafo. Atafo__. But if you want to chat with me, it's Mai Atafo. Don't order clothes on Mai Atafo. I don't take orders. Then our website is www.atafo.africa. So you can reach out to us there too.
Any other thing you want to promote?
Nothing.
Okay, guys, thank you once again for watching. Thank my guest, Mai Atafo, for this incredible interview. I remain your host, Benzik, and I'm going to see you again next time. Cheers.